so-called foreigners from the other former republics. We have to equate, this is Mr. Yefimov, we have to make these tariffs equal. We've done that with regard to aviation. And those companies which fly to our country, we have established the same rates for them. One more change, foreign plane tickets will be sold only for foreign currency. Who doesn't have a hard currency will pay in rubles, but have to pay a market rate. So that's the way the last train got away from me. A special session of the Parliament of Georgia is to resolve the fate of the Republic. This was the statement of one of the leaders, Tengiz Kitovani of the Republic. The session will be called in the next few days. The chief question is the self-abolition of the Supreme Soviet and the appointment of and the setting of new elections. Up until the new elections, the entire power will be in the hands of the provisional government. The political conceptions of which were published yesterday. In Tbilisi, they're getting telegrams from the capitals of the sovereign states. Ruslan Khasbulatov from Russia, in his telegram, stated that he was puzzled and troubled by the policies of former President Gamsakhuurdia with regard to violations of human rights. He was particularly troubled by Gamsakhuurdia's treatment of southern Ossetia, as a result of which 100,000 persons became refugees. As for Minsk, according to Stanislav Shushkevich in Belarus, the removal of the lawfully elected leader of the country is a negative phenomenon, indeed extremely negative. Peaceful meetings and demonstrations are being broken up with automatic weapon fire, even if it's firing into the air. According to Arikyan, President Gamsakhuurdia were the first to utilize arms with regard to their opponents. Gamsakhuurdia himself is temporarily hiding in Armenia, and there have been no contacts with Georgia, and he continues to state that he considers himself to be the President of Georgia. Considerations with regard rumors that the President had taken with him the rubles and the hard currency of the treasury. To this we have added the fact that a close person to Gamsakhuurdia, Manana Dzudzuashvili, had likewise fled the Republic, taking with her 40 kilograms of gold, which were intended for gold fillings. That's according to the news agency Fact. We have a very complex situation in Tbilisi and other areas of Georgia. According to our latest reports received from TASS, the forces which support Gamsakhuurdia have begun to organize civil disobedience to the current leadership of Georgia. Today in Minsk, after the Christmas holidays, they've started up this parliament again in Belarus. The proposal was made that military questions be examined. Stanislav Shushkevich read the text of a telegram of Marshal Shapashnikov with regard to the oath of the military, which is to be signed, which should be sworn, according to the Marshal, from the 10th to the 12th of January. But there were a number of objections in the hall as to the appropriateness of the oath, inasmuch the oath would be sworn to the Russian president. The military question has been added to the agenda in the second half of the day. Mr. Vyacheslav Kebich proposed that there be simplified the structure of government. Today, the session adopted a question with regard to the basket of consumer prices. But there were pickets here with the teachers from the schools and colleges who are demanding a raise in salary, a stabilization of prices, and the handing over of the senior party school to be made into a lycée. The alternative elections of Kabardine-Balkaria took place in a difficult situation. An absolute majority was received by Valery Muhamedovich Kokov. Today, there was a solemn swearing in of Kokov as the head of Kabardine-Balkaria. He swore loyalty to his people. I swear to serve the people of Kabardine-Balkarsky, Bulgaria, SSR. From the chronicle of multi-party systems, we learned that one party has become an opposition, has joined the opposition. There was a statement that the cadets were leaving the intergovernmental agreement on reform. According to the cadet party, Yeltsin has not been consulting with other parties and has thus violated all agreements. There was a lot of criticism for the Russian government, which, according to the cadets, who are the constitutional Democrats, have done nothing for the Russian-speaking population of the Baltic, and they're being too soft with regard to the Black Sea Fleet. And there is no economic program which might be thought through. The cadets are skeptical with regard to the agreements concluded in Almaty and Minsk. In criticizing the Russian authorities, they reject the Bolshevik tactics and are not calling for strikes or rebellions. This is Mr. Astafiev, who is the chairman of the Central Committee of the Cadet Party, and he says if Mr. Yeltsin is going to be objective, we will be happy to support him. As for the Liberal Democratic Party of Mr. Zhirinovsky, he finds himself in the opposition, and very much so. The path out of the economic crisis of Russia, he sees in a very simple way out. You can judge for yourself. They're always asking at the press conference, how are you going to rejuvenate the health of the economy? We'll sell millions in arms and take the billions of dollars to buy goods and deliver them to the people. In Moscow today, there were the first farmer auctions. The economists and politicians count on it a lot, who hope for a transition to the market, but the results were more than modest. Many of the participants noted that the liberalization of prices had not escaped this sector as well. Here we overcame capitalism with regard to the number of stock markets and markets, even though we have very few goods. This is a great secret, how very real fortunes, millions are being earned here, although these are only phony ruble fortunes. How does your market differ from others? This is the only Russian farmer-peasant market with Mr. Popov, and we work directly with the producers. But even here, you have very small group of farmers, but we're amazed by prices. Beef costs 160 kilograms, rubles a kilogram. Butter costs 250, oil 50. It's because machinery is 10 times as expensive. If a combine formerly cost...
We now leave the Soviet evening newscast, News 1, in order to bring you our regularly scheduled live viewer call-in programs. You can see News 1 again in its entirety on the overnight program schedule at approximately 2:15 a.m. Eastern Time, 11:15 Pacific.
We farmers cannot